गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Om Om. So we say a little bit the last portion of Sugama. We shall deal with it. Now the last question on this topic, there are regarding avidya, there are various questions and their replies. In the 71st passage, Swamiji raises few questions and answers. In them we have discussed around 5 questions and answered. I think the last question is the 6th question. Okay, with this the topic of avidya comes to a conclusion. Now, nanu cha evam badhakena jnanena. Now the objection first and then there's a reply. The objection says, just a minute, I don't know, this is getting folded up. ननु च एवं बाधकेन ज्ञानेन भेदज्ञानकारणस्य अनाद्यज्ञानस्य सर्वथा विनष्टत्वात् कथं भेदज्ञान अनुवृत्तिः. Now a jnanam has arisen in a person. Badhakena jnanena, the jnanam which destroys, adhyasa, bhedajnana karanasya anadignanasya. So the adhyasa which is beginningless, the beginningless adhyasa bhedajnana karanasya anadyajnanasya. So the cause of dvaitam, bhedajnanam means dvaita jnanam. The cause of the dvaita jnanam is adhyasa, which is beginningless, that is instinctive. So when this beginningless avidya is destroyed, badhaka jnanena, badhakam means falsifying. So with a here destruction or falsification both mean the same. Okay. So badhaka jnanena, the knowledge which falsifies dvaitam, jnakaranasya sarvatha vinashtatvat, when adhyasa is completely destroyed. See here, badha or destruction means the same. Adhyasa is completely destroyed. Adhyasa completely destroyed means he doesn't see himself as a pramatru. He doesn't see himself as a pramatru identified with mind and sense organs and body, mind and sense organs. And through that sees the gneyam. It is the pramatrutvam that feels that I am within the world, means I am surrounded by the world and I am perceiving the world. I am related to the world. So I am somebody and there is something connected to me. So this is pramatru prameya, gnatru gneya is dvaitam. So this gnatru gneya dvaitam is due to adhyasa. Adhyasa means what? Taking atma, anatma, atma is anatma, anatma is atma. That means seeing the conscious atma as related to antakarana and sense organs. And antakarana, sense organs are related to me. That means being a pramatru. In being pramatru, there is adhyasa. Because in being a gnatru or pramatru, there is adhyasa. Without adhyasa, pramatrutvam itself doesn't come into existence. Pramatrutvam doesn't come without adhyasa. So, when there is adhyasa, when there is avidya or adhyasa, I find myself to be pramatru. As a Pramatru, I am related to Jnanam, Jnana Pratyaya. I am a Jnatru related to Gneya. So this is avidya, this is ajnanis. Ajnani means one who finds oneself to be a pramatru due to adhyasa. Because pramatrutvam is due to adhyasa only. So this bheda jnanam is destroyed. That means adhyasa is corrected. Adhyasa corrected means Chaitanyam is not in a state of pramatru. That is a mixed state of Chaitanyam as Antakarana Indriyas and Antakarana Indriyas as Chaitanyam. So when they are mixed up, you find a Pramatrutvam. So that Pramatrutvam is understood as a wrong. Wrong means it is a false, otherwise there is no Pramatrutvam. Means consciousness is not connected to sense organs and mind. Okay, that means consciousness is Sakshi. Consciousness, Sakshi in the sense, Sakshi is again a name only. The Sakshi implies, Sakshi word is used to negate Pramatrutvam. Sakshitvam itself is not a status there. Sakshitvam itself is not a relationship, is not a quality. Sakshitvam is Atma only. So Atma who is not in relationship is called Sakshi. So relationship is Pramatrutvam and standing without relationship is non-duality. So Sakshitvam is a prakriya to negate Pramatrutvam. Okay. Otherwise Sakshitvam itself is not a relative status. Sakshitvam is not a relative status. Only two things are there, either a relation or non-relational. If there is a relation, then Pramatru Prameya. Then if there is a non-relational, there is only one consciousness. Only two things. There is no in-between third one. Though we call Sakshi, but the Sakshitvam is also a relative, it is an Adhyaropita Drishtya. It's an Adhyaropita Drishtya only to negate the Pramatrutvam, Atma is called as Sakshi. Therefore, here the Adhyasa is Sarvata Vinashtatva, is Purvapakshi asking, okay? Still Purvapakshi is asking, answer will come later. When avidya is Sarvata Vinashta, means Adhyasa is completely gone. That means due to Adhyasa, the mind and sense organs are imposed upon the consciousness. So that imposition is gone. So the imposition of Antakarana, sense organs and body upon the Atma, then the Atma which is all pervasive appears as located, as an individual. See, as a relative, a conscious, that means a consciousness which is non-dual appears as a related consciousness. Okay? A non-dual existence appears as an individual related to somebody. See, a consciousness appearing as a located one, as an individual one, as related to something is Adhyasa. So, don't go by the arguments. Some people only go by the books and arguments alone. It is so boring. If you don't look at your Anubhava, you go by the statements of Bhashya, Upanishad mantras, and arguments, it is all same. Any argument remains the same. Same in the sense, all of them are you remaining Pramatru, you listen. Listening any amount is all going into the drains only. So here the purpose of listening is whether am I Pramatru or I stand without Pramatru. If you stand without Pramatru, then all problems are solved, you have no question. Because there is nobody to question and there is nobody to answer. If you still remain Pramatru and question is there and there is a Pramatrutvam and there is an Adhyasa, that's all. In that Adhyasa, no answer can satisfy you because answers are not meant to satisfy Pramatru. No answer, no Bhashya, no Upanishad mantra, no Vyakhyana or nobody on the earth is capable of satisfying you or me or anybody I am talking. No answer can satisfy us as long as I remain Pramatru. Because it is the Pramatru that is the basis of all doubts, all questions. Because when I stand as a Pramatru, how can I understand that I am free from Pramatru? I am free from Adhyasa. To understanding oneself as free from Adhyasa is not possible to Pramatru, because Pramatru himself is Adhyasta. Pramatru himself is in the wake of Adhyasa. So that Pramatru cannot understand himself to be free from Pramatrutva. So there is no point in Pramatru trying to understand. You stand as a Pramatru and try to listen to Vedanta and study all the books. It is as good as doing any other, watching a film, reading a book, and then entertainment and all that. It is no way different from any other worldly activity. Because in all other worldly activity, you remain a Pramatru and then relate to something else, Pramatru, Prameya. So any argument, any reading of a book or anything is within this, then it means the same thing. It doesn't satisfy anybody. Satisfaction means only when I am free from Pramatrutvam, that experience alone can satisfy. Because there is no question. The questioner very questioning Pramatrutvam is dissolved, is negated, is falsified. The very Pramatrutvam is falsified means what? Consciousness is seen as unrelated to vritti, antakarana vritti. Consciousness is understood as not connected to antakarana and sense organs and the body. Then consciousness is not located. Consciousness is not related. Okay? It is not located in space and time. It is not located in the world. And you don't see the world around you and you are a person watching the world. That means being located in the world. Located in a state. You are not located in the state, you are free from any state. When you are free from state, then there is your location less. You are non-dual only. Then there is no relativeness. Okay. So a non-relational consciousness itself is an answer. Argument is not an answer. Quotation is not an answer. When you are questioning, what are you as a questioner, as a listener? As a listener, as a questioner, do you stand as a Pramatru, or you understand that the Pramatrutvam is when you don't see yourself as a consciousness free from mind and body and all those vritti? Okay. If you stay still as a see Pramatrutvam, then that itself means assumed. Already Adhyasa is assumed. Adhyasa, under the assumption of Adhyasa, within Adhyasa alone, Pramatrutvam is there. Then the question is not in the book. Question is not in the argument. The doubt is not in the argument. Doubt is not in the in discussion. Doubt is not there in the book and the writing sentences. Doubt is you are standing as a Pramatrutvam is all the doubt. All doubt, all ignorance, all question, everything, all, whether it is a samsara, whether it is a doubt, whether it is a question, whether it is an argument, or whether it is a samsara. Anything is standing as a Pramatrutvam. Okay. So here you say, question is nanucha evam badhakena jnanena. So I am reading out the sentence and explaining. Sometimes, why sometimes? That's how we do it. The sentence has to be explained. The sentence is spoken from a standpoint. So to that standpoint, that sentence comes an explanation. Then I have to explain that sentence. Okay. That sentence gives an explanation. The explanation is not to account for something, but to falsify the thing. Okay. You retain it and give explanation. No explanation can satisfy you, because it's meaningless. No explanation can convince Pramatrutvam as non-dual Brahman. What argument can convince Pramatru? Is Pramatrutvam going to be convinced? Is Pramatrutvam that is going to be convinced? All arguments, all explanations are waste. If the explanation is meant to release the very Pramatrutvam, that means He's standing as a pramatru and seeing in another one. That relationship is broken, is separated. That means consciousness is separated from being pramatru. That means pramatrutvam is a combined state of consciousness with anatma. It will antakarana vritti and indriya, body. Body is a vritti, antakarana is a vritti, and mind is also a vritti. So the consciousness in relationship vritti. So the consciousness has to be made independent, seen independent of vritti. If consciousness is seen as an independent of antakarana, indriya and the body, then consciousness stands without being pramatru. Consciousness understands that I am not pramatru, means my consciousness is not relative. Understanding as pramatru, understanding as not being pramatru means my consciousness is not relative. Non-relational consciousness, then there is no pramatrutvam, there is no question, there is no answer. There is nobody to answer. And you have no question also. Question means standing as pramatru. Are you standing as pramatru? Then all your questions, all your answers are waste. If you give up means see that pramatrutvam is a wrong thing, it doesn't exist for me. Me means whatever is that consciousness. I am as a consciousness, I am no more pramatru. I was never a pramatru. Anyway, pramatrutvam is from the standpoint of pramatrutvam. Actually itself doesn't exist. It exists for nobody. Pramatrutvam itself as an entity doesn't exist. It is a wrong angle of looking, that's all. A wrong angle of looking. Pramatrutvam itself doesn't exist for anybody. It's only ultimately consciousness alone. It is only just a consciousness. Consciousness has been there and it is there, that's all. So consciousness itself is not a pramatru. Pramatrutvam is a falsely, wrongly assumed seeing it is. It is assumed, it is a false perception. False perception, this statement has to be understood, not to be taken and then argued based upon it. See, pramatrutvam is a false. It is meant to remove the pramatrutvam, then the no question, no answer. Or take this statement and argue on it. When pramata is addressed, it is told that pramatrutvam is a false. As the sentence comes and dissolves the very pramatrutvam. Or if pramatru listens to that statement, that pramatrutvam is a false, then he argues it. What is the meaning in it? What is the point in arguing it? It is the pramatru who listens to the statements, and if pramatrutvam was false, even to argue, he stands as a pramatru. He stands as a jnatru. When he stands as a pramatru and only takes Vedantic statement as a statement and argues over the statement, that means he is retaining the very pramatrutvam. Then all questions are only, it is repeating his pramatru drishti. He is repeating. Once you retain pramatru drishti, anything you talk, it is the same as pramatrutvam alone. No answer can convince him, because it is not meant to convince pramatru. Answer is not meant to convince pramatru. Okay. So here, if jnanam, anyway, Purvapakshi is asking, it is the last question. So, badhakena jnanena bheda jnanakasya, bheda jnana karanasya. Bheda jnanam means jnatru jneyam, or jnanam, jnatru jneya relationship. Of this relationship, karanam means what? Staying as being in adhyasa. Karanam means being in adhyasta state, being under the assumption. Remaining under the assumption is karanam, adhyasa or avidya. So if jnanasya sarvata vinashtatvat, when that assumption is broken, is debunked, is corrected, then you stand as a consciousness, not in relation, not in relationship with antakarana and sense organs and the body. The vinashtatvat katham bheda jnana anuvrittihi. How can the bheda jnana continue? We say badhita anuvritti. When the badhaka jnana arises, when the Badhaka Jnana arises, how can there be anuvritti of Bheda? Means how can Pramatrutvam continue? If the Jnanam that separates, that breaks the Pramatrutvam and only dissolves the Pramatrutvam and shows you as consciousness, then what is there to continue? Once the Jnanam falsifies Adhyasa, then Pramatrutvam is debunked. Then how can the Bheda Anuvritti means how can the Pramatrutva, Prameyatva Anuvritti? That means Pramatrutvam standing in relationship with a Gneyam. That means Pramatru knowing something, I as a Jnatru in relationship with Gneyam. That means your Jnanam is a relative Jnanam, related to something you know. You know something. You are something and know something. You are somebody knowing something. How can there be that Bheda Jnana? Bheda Jnana means that Pramad. How can there be Pramatrutvam? That's all it means. Bheda Jnana means a Pramatrutvam. Tad abhavecha. Then if you are not that, now the question arises, if the with Badha Pramatrutvam is corrected, then you stand as a non-dual consciousness only. Tad abhavecha katham shishyebhyas tattva jnanopadesha. Then how does he teach tattva jnanam to shishya? Isn't it? The question is after jnanam teaching. The problem, because jnanam falsifies Dvaitam. Then after falsification, then how can you teach? See, the question comes here. After falsification, Dvaitam goes away. Then to teach Dvaitam is required. Then after Jnanam goes, after Avidya Dvaitam goes away, how can he bring back Dvaitam again? That means teaching is either say that teaching is impossible, or say that he has not completely removed Dvaitam. Only two things is possible. But he removed Dvaitam and retained Dvaitam. To teach, he has to retain Dvaitam. He removed Dvaitam and retained Dvaitam. This is a contradiction. Isn't it? This is the question. The question itself shows. Question itself shows where the questioner stands. Okay. The question itself shows where the questioner stands. Because he is trying to combine the darkness in the light. The non-existent. If non-existent, how can you combine? But he himself is working for contradiction. The very question is working for contradiction. So, vinashtatvat katham bheda jnanena anuvrittihi tad abhavecha katham shishyebhyas tattva jnanopadeshaha. Then how can he teach? It is, in a way, it's a continuation of the previous talk only, because previous paragraph Swamiji answered. Now he is coming to this final answer. That was, the previous answer was a preparation to this answer, because the mind has to understand. Therefore, the previous answer, if you have understood, thing is, if the Dvaitam is falsified, no question would arise. But the problem is, he doesn't falsify, he assumes a falsification and puts the question. If you falsify, no question would arise, because he himself understands there is no Dvaitam and there is no teacher. Then how will he teach the Shishya? Nobody asks. Nobody asks that. Once you understand yourself as a Brahman, do you worry that, oh, what will happen to the other disciples and other Ajna? Where do you find other Ajnanis? Do you find there is another Ajnani? You think of another Ajnani as long as you are an Ajnani. When you understand Brahman, where is the question of Ajnani? There is no another Shishya, another Ajnani, all this. But anyway, so his problem is not solving his Ajnanam and seeing himself as Brahman. The questioner is not falsifying his Pramatrutvam and seeing himself as a Brahman. He assumes the falsification of Dvaitam. He assumes the falsification of Dvaitam. Yes, I have falsified. Then why am I saying Dvaitam? See the question. Yes, I have. Okay, suppose I falsify. After falsifying, how will I see? It is something like a person existing in dream, and he says, suppose I wake up from this dream, then after I wake up, then how will I see this dream? See, after waking up, how will I see this dream? He is asking the question. Guru says, first you wake up, means, no, I shall wake up, that is okay. But after waking up, how will I see the dream? When you wake up from the dream, how will you see? His biggest doubt is, how can he see the dream after waking up from the dream? Guruji says, first you wake up, then the answer will come automatically. See, I am trying to understand the answer. First you give me tell me, after I wake up, how will I see my dream? Do you see this? He is working for contradiction. That means he assumes the answer, and over the answer, he argues upon the answer. Doesn't understand the answer. Doesn't apply the answer to him. He assumes the answer, then argues over it. Answer is not for assumption and argue over the answer. Answer is not for assuming it. Answer is not for the pramatru to assume that suppose I am Brahmagyani, then why am I pramatru? It is something like somebody says, Guruji says that you are not pramatru, you are Brahman. And he says, suppose, yes, Guruji, as you say, if I am Brahman, then why am I pramatru? Guruji says, same thing I am answering you. My answer is to this question only, that you are not pramatru, you are Brahman. Okay, if I am Brahman, then why am I pramatru? You see this question now? See this question? He doesn't want to listen to the previous answer given. He wants to assume the answer and then put question over the answer. First I should be convinced, later I become Brahmagyani. First, as a pramatru, I want to convince that I am Brahmagyani. And later I may become Brahmagyani or not is a later people. Some people say, I don't have Vairagyam Swamiji, but I come here to argue with you about Vedanta. I'll become Brahmagyani later, or I may become, I may not become, because that's a difficult Swamiji. Vairagyam is difficult. So I don't have Antarmukhatvam, I don't have Mumukshutvam. So I am only a worldly man, but I want to understand Vedanta. Swami. Okay, that is his situation. Now, as a pramatru, he wants to be convinced that he is not pramatru. After being convinced, then he may not try to become, to get rid of pramatrutvam and understand brahmatvam, to stay as a Brahman. But as a pramatru, he wants to understand how I am not pramatru, isn't it? This is most important, Swamiji. Getting rid of pramatrutvam and seeing oneself as a Brahman, it may be a different thing. It may be for real Brahmagyanis, that's a different. I don't want to be Brahmagyani, but I want to understand Brahmajnana. I want to understand how I am not pramatru. I am not pramatru, you tell me I am pramatru. You convince me how I am not pramatru. Guruji says, I can only say that you are not pramatru. Yes, I have listened, I have understood, I have got a doubt over it. Earlier answer is perfectly understood. I have no doubt about it. I am very clear about your answer. I have understood it. I only have another question. I am not asking the same question. I am not repeating the same question. Another question which follows from your answer. You told I am not pramatru. If I am not pramatru, why am I pramatru? Guruji says, you are not that pramatru who is questioning it. Yes, I have understood I am not pramatru, but tell me, why am I still pramatru? You understand the question? Very interesting. Very strange question. So he says, Badhaka jnanam vinashtatvat katham bheda jnana anuvrittihi. Now, his doubt is not, his goal is not to falsify Dvaitam and understanding Brahman, non-dual Brahman. After Brahmajnanam, how do you explain the Dvaitam? After waking up, how do you explain your sleep? Okay? After you understand that there is no Dvaitam, you explain how is Dvaitam. I explained to you there is no Dvaitam. Yes, I have understood there is no Dvaitam. Still explain to me how Dvaitam is present. Oh, how Dvaitam is present has to be explained to the non-dual Brahman how Dvaitam is present. How Dvaitam is present, to whom do you explain? To non-dual Brahman. Very strange. Therefore, Advaitam is understood. Jnanam falsifies Dvaitam. After falsifying, how can the Dvaitam continue? See, his doubt is, how now his goal is he has understood now Advaitam. Now his doubt, what he has not understood is, Advaitam is easy to understand. After understanding the Advaitam, now he has got a doubt. After understanding Advaita, after removing Dvaita, he has removed Dvaitam. He has understood Advaita. Now he has got a doubt about Dvaitam. Now you see the nature of question. Where does he stand? Where does his question stand? He has removed Dvaitam. He has understood Advaitam. Now he has got a doubt about Dvaitam. Katam Dvaita Jnana Anuvritti. How can the Dvaitam be Anuvritti? See. Dvaita Anuvritti. Advaita is clear now, is understood now. Now after Advaita Brahmajnani, what will he do? What will he do? You become Advaita, you become Jnani, then you put the question. Does Jnani has a doubt that what will I do after Jnanam? Guruji says, first you become Jnani and then you will know it. No, I will become, or I may not become, that's a different, but I have got curiosity. After becoming Jnani, what will I do? If you tell my duty, what is the duty of a Jnani? Duty of a Jnani. Okay, what does other Jnanis do? I want to know. Other Jnanis, what will they won't do? If somebody comes, they will answer. Just out of compassion, they will help some people, serve some people, or teach some people. Therefore, my doubt is, after getting Jnanam, what will I do? Should I teach, or should I do service, or should I sit idle? What will I do? The doubt about Advaita, doubt about Jnani, what Jnani should do is, who's a Pramatru is worried about what will Jnani do. Pramatru is worried now. Anyway, so tadabhavecha katham shishyebhyas tattva jnanopadesha. If there is no Dvaitam, how will he see that there is a disciple to me and I am a guru and then how will he teach? So this is the question. Tad anuvruttau swayam ajnasya katham acharyatvam. Okay, he says, yes, he sees disciple and then he himself is Jnani and he sees the disciple and then he teaches it. Oh, if he sees the disciple, then without seeing disciple, how will he see? Will he teach the wall? How will he teach then? He has to see disciple. If he sees the disciple, then he knows himself to be Jnani and Guru, and then he sees the disciple that he is an Ajnani, he doesn't know. Unless he knows that he doesn't know, how will he teach? Unless he knows that Arjuna is Ajnani, how can Krishna teach? Or if he knows Arjuna is already Jnani, how can he teach? If you know that the person already knows, how can you teach? If he doesn't know alone, if you assume that he doesn't know, you can go ahead. You can proceed to teach. So therefore, tad anuvruttau. Then he sees that here is a disciple, he doesn't know, he is a Ajnani, I know Brahman but he doesn't know, let me teach him. Okay. Then if he sees that there is an Ajnani, to be able to see there is an Ajnani other than me who is a Jnani, I am a Jnani but I am seeing an Ajnani. Okay, if he sees Ajnani, does he see the Ajnani also as his own consciousness? Or does he... How can he see Ajnani as a consciousness? Because Ajnani is combined with Ajnanam. That Ajnanam cannot be combined with his Jnanam, isn't it? He is a Jnani. Jnani means only Chaitanyam. He doesn't have Ajnanam. But Ajnani, how can he see the Ajnanam in his Jnanam? Does he see another Ajnani in his Jnanam? Okay. So, tad anuvruttau. If he has to see the Shishya as an Ajnani, that means he is seeing a Shishya, something other than Jnani. Because Shishya has to be Ajnani. Ajnani has to be other than Jnani. Okay. So, Ajnani has to be other than Jnani. If he sees them, yes, he doesn't know, so let me teach him. That's all. Once he has a thought that here is a person who doesn't know and I know him and I teach him, then there is a Dvaitam already. Swayam Agnyasya Katham Acharyatvam. That means Dvaitam is continuing in him. That there is an Ajnani. To be able to see darkness, how will you see? Can the sun see the darkness? If sun sees the darkness, then sun is not light. Sun is not light if he sees the darkness. Can sun see the darkness? If sun sees the darkness, then he is not complete light. He is not completely light. When it is not completely light, then how can he remove others' darkness? Sun cannot remove others' darkness if he is not completely light. If he himself contains darkness, how can he remove? Okay. So here the question is continued. Tad anuvruttau swayam ajnasya katham acharyatvam. If after jnanam dvaitam anuvartate, badita anuvrutti, he is questioning about badita anuvrutti. In the previous paragraph, Swamiji told that badita anuvrutti reva gatihi. Now he is questioning based upon badita anuvrutti. If after badita, if there is a dvaita anuvrutti, after baditam, after Dvaitam is falsified and then it continues, that means Dvaitam is there again. After gaining Jnanam, then Dvaitam has come. You may say it is a different kind of Dvaitam. Okay, it may be different, but still Dvaitam is there. Whether it is a different kind of Dvaitam, old type of Dvaitam, modified Dvaitam, improved Dvaitam, or whatever kind of Dvaitam, but it is Dvaitam. Okay, because questioner is questioning. So, tad anuvruttau swayam ajnasya katham acharyatvam. If that after jnanam, if Dvaitam continues, that means Dvaitam is not removed. Only he thought that he has removed, but continuing in Dvaitam. Because for sake of disciple, he has to continue in Dvaitam. Otherwise, if he goes away, who will teach the Shishya then? So, for sake of Shishya, some people they say that they won't become Jnanis because if I become Jnanis, then who will teach my disciple? Therefore, they will remain at the gate. Somebody said, they remain at the gate for sake of others and they remain at the gate of moksha and they don't want to enter the moksha so that they teach others and at the last time, when everybody is liberated, probably in the last person, he may enter into moksha. This is a very, very dramatic explanation. It's a very interesting to see. So, Baditanuvritti Swikarepi. Now, next question. The question is continuing. The Purvapakshi's question is one more, I think two or three sentences. He is putting all questions in one place. Okay. Baditanuvritti Swikarepi. Even if you accept to Badita Anuvritti, continuation of a duality, false duality, falsified duality, even after falsification. After falsification, a continuation. Even if you accept that, Katham Mithya Vishayatva Nischaye Sati Upadeshaya Pravrittihi. When he understands that Dvaitam is not there, it is totally falsified. When it is a false, how can you continue? When you understand Shishya is not there, I am not Guru and Shishya is not there. But how can he continue to that, he is a Shishya and I am a Guru? He understood that I am not a Guru and he understood there is no Shishya for me. There is no Shishya, I am not a Guru. There is no world for me, but still how can he continue? He understood once Mithyatva Nischaya, that it is, there is no world after understanding, there is no disciple after understanding, how will he teach? Oh, assume, how will he assume when it is not there? See, a mirage is understood that there is no water, it is only appearance. After understanding, how will you run for it? No, falsely he is running. False also, how can he run? It is not there at all. Where will he run? Run for what? It doesn't exist. No, for water. Which water? It doesn't exist at all. He understood it's not water. How will he run for it? No, he will go and touch the water. Which water he touches? There is no water. Which will he touch? What will he touch? Okay, therefore, Mithya Vishayatva Nischaye Sati Upadeshaya Pravritti. How does he proceed? How can he proceed to teach? Means, does he stand as a one who goes about teaching? To be able to teach, you have to stand as a Pramatru then. Does he stand as a Pramatru to be able to teach? After understanding that I am not Pramatru, then again will he become Pramatru again? When I understand I am not Pramatru, then who is Pramatru? Who will proceed? He doesn't proceed because he is a Sakshi. Proceed for what? to teach disciple. Where is he? Even that Paramatma, other disciple, so-called disciple also himself only consciousness alone. Then when the disciple also sees as a consciousness, everybody is a consciousness, then who will teach whom? How will he proceed to teach? Katancha nitya nivritta ajnanasya bhagavato arjunam prati gitopadesha. For this a concrete example, Sri Krishna, who is free from ajnanam, who is purely consciousness Advaitam Brahma alone, how does he proceed to teach to Arjuna? How does he proceed to teach Arjuna? Isn't it? Because he is already knows, then there is no Arjuna other than him for him. Neither Arjuna nor Kurukshetra nor the world nor Duryodhanadi nor anybody, everything is himself alone, only consciousness. And then that consciousness, does it go about teaching? Teaching whom? There is nobody. First thing is the teaching itself is impossible. Teaching, you require body and mind. To teach, you require oral speech. You require a mind for thinking, thought. But that mind and body, sense organs are also consciousness alone, falsified. After falsification, where is that? Who does it? Who exists anywhere? Who does exist? Tasmat. Therefore, my conclusion is Vidya Swarupa Vibhagaha. See, first is becoming jnani and then again proceeding to teach others. Badita Anuvritti. Badita and Anuvritti. This way of explanation is so contradictory, it doesn't convince me at all. Who is asking? Purvapakshi or disciple, whatever you say. He says, Purvapakshi or disciple, let us say. Shishya is asking, Tasmat Vidya Swarupa Vibhaga. This Vidya, explaining what is Vidya and again Avidya. Vidya Swarupa, the nature of Vidya and Avidya, Vibhaga. You are categorizing, you are classifying these two things. This is the nature of Vidya. Once you gain Vidya, it is like this. If you have Ajnanam, it is like this. This Vibhaga you are doing. Ajnani is Ajnani, I understand. There is a duality. But you say Jnani removes the duality and again works in duality. This doesn't make sense to me. Jnani removes the duality but works within duality. Oh, Ajnani works in duality, that is easy to understand. That's why it is easy to understand Ajnanam. Only Jnanam alone is very difficult. He says, disciple, Ajnanam is easy to understand. Understanding Jnanam is difficult. Because you remove duality and work in duality. Work in duality? That too when? Duality which is removed, when it doesn't exist, where is to work? Who is to work and where is to work? Duality is removed, then removed. Then who is to work? Where is to work? When there is no duality, where is to work? It is something like you break your house and there is no house, and you make, after breaking your house and make it a ground level, then you do Gruha Pravesha. How can you, when there is no Gruha, how will you do Pravesha? Gruha is broken. Then Gruha Pravesha? Which Pravesha? It's like putting end to a person and talk to him. After destroying him, you talk to him. You kill a person and talk to him. You could talk to him before his death, but after killing, how can you? But he doesn't exist. Then how will you talk to him? After killing him, you give him food. After killing, he doesn't exist. Who will you give food? So here he says, Tasmat Vidya Swarupa Vibhagahayam Asamanjasaha eva. Everything is just doesn't suit at all. Very improper. Means it's very contradiction. It doesn't work at all. Iti na pratibhati. Therefore, your explanation of is becoming jnani and again continuing to teach Dvaitam. Then you told, okay, he falsifies, yet he continues. Badita nivritti. It continues only after falsification. He says, if you have told falsification, I would have understood. But after falsification continuing, this is not convincing to me. That means either he is not falsified, or after falsification, no teaching possible. Tell me either of the one. No teaching is possible. Or if teaching is possible, then he has not falsified. Only two things. But these two contradictions, he removed the Dvaitam and again works in the same Dvaitam. Which Dvaitam? He removed it? Yes, he removed. Then works in Dvaitam. Which Dvaitam? You removed already. Where is it? It doesn't exist. Dvaitam which doesn't exist, where does he work? No question, no answer. How can you do that? disciple is very intelligent. He understood the point. So he put the question. Now what Guruji's answer is, I think it is 1 o'clock. We'll answer tomorrow. Okay. What I should have done yesterday, but anyway, something else, some disturbance has come. So how this is the final answer. With this, Vedanta concludes. Sugama concludes, this is the last answer. Okay. It is a one paragraph. Oh, the paragraph is also big. But anyway, in this Swamiji only gives more quotations. Before quotations, Swamiji gives briefly in 3 or 4 sentences his own answer. Then as a what you call a reference to that answer, he quotes Bhashya and Gaudapada and all others, Mandukya Karika, and then Brihadaranyaka he quotes. Okay. So before, the quotation is only to show that the answer he is giving is not against our tradition. It is only traditional acharyas have given. So traditional quotations, we leave them. Quotations will be only repetition alone. But Swamiji gives the summary of those quotations, first 3 or 4 sentences, that we shall answer tomorrow. I think those who are intelligent, in the question itself you must have got an answer. But anyway, those who do not get an answer, we will see the answer. Okay, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat.